We had the exact same number. This is what I was hoping for on this trip, actually. I was hoping to come to beautiful places, shoot arrows, and see that ArrowTime has come to a point where it's ready for some real adoption. What's up, ArrowTime friends and fans? This is Paul coming at you from the beginning of bow hunting season in Northern California. I'm here with my doggie. She's finally cooling down after a very strenuous hike up to this ridge top. I'm a beginner hunter. I'm an intermediate archer, and I'm developing an app that archers can use to measure their arrow speed and their consistency and to assist them with sighting in and getting better as archers. It's called ArrowTime Chrono. I've posted a bunch of videos about it. This video is going to show a road trip that I was on where I was shooting and then going into town and coding. You'll see that the Android version of the app and the iPhone version of the app in quiet conditions were exactly agreeing with each other, like shot after shot, saying the same speed. Within 0.1. That was one of my hopes for what would happen on this trip. And it did happen on the last day that I was there. The video shows that journey. I hope you'll enjoy it and stay in touch. Please subscribe. Download the app, which is still free in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. If you do download the app, there is a place in the settings page where you can join the beta program, which gives you invites to try out some of the latest features for free while I'm actively developing them. So the video kind of shows a place in time where things got noticeably better over a 3-day road trip in a beautiful part of my home state of California. So enjoy. Always be charging. The number one rule of EVs. I decided to take myself on a road trip. My friends are camping up in Mount Shasta. I think you can see it in the background here. And I decided to do some choice archery content in my EV, which is also going to be my plan for hunting. I'm going to be the EV hunter. So I am gonna stop the charge and get up the hill and try to do some shooting. The app Chrono that lives on your phone, that's always with you, that measures your arrow speed and consistency by listening to you shoot, has gotten more precise. I thought I'll take myself to a beautiful place, do some shooting, let people know that things have gotten a lot better. I'm doing 2 different ways of verifying the distance. I'm using my tape and my rangefinder. The Achilles heel of ArrowTime is that the distance that you're standing really matters. My suggestion for people is to measure it the same way every time. You can't take your distance lightly and expect to have very good results in ArrowTime. So far, the guy that's shooting his gun, I'm assuming it's a guy, the person shooting their gun over there is not actually causing any issues with ArrowTime. We're picking up the shots, that's good. We're getting usable information. But I was hoping for better agreement. Okay, now we're going to try one at 50 yards using the fresh side of this bag target. See if I can get it a little bit louder. Wow, we had exact agreement at 50 yards on that nice crisp hit. So maybe that was the thing that was going on at the 40-yard group, was that it wasn't very crisp. Okay. Second shot was not that good from the point of view of agreement. Third shot we had exact agreement. A little bit of wind trash. I'm just going to wait at full draw here. See if this gust becomes a little low. Developing ArrowTime Chrono for 2 different platforms. iPhone is doing much worse from the point of view of wind trash. Is quite challenging. But there are some benefits. So right here, seeing that Android is holding stable while the iPhone is generating tons of trash gives me at least a view that it's possible to be stable in the wind. Whereas if I only had the iPhone, I would think, oh, wind is just too difficult. exact agreement on the last shot. So something was happening that went really well at 50 yards. We did have a standard deviation of 1.1 on the iPhone, and if I swipe away the bad shot on the Android, we did have a standard deviation of 1.4 on the Android. Actually not as good as the Garmin. We're gonna see if we can pick up some shots at 60 yards here in beautiful Mount Shasta. Wow, we had exact agreement on that first shot, 250. Fantastic. Okay, on that shot we got one on the iPhone at 251 and we did not get one on the Android. Another exact shot with more wind trash. I'm sitting here shooting in a wide open place on a mountainside at 5:30 p.m. I think that's an hour that the wind kind of comes up. So I think I should try this in the morning. I picked a spot yesterday that was kind of epic feeling, but it was pretty exposed. The trees in the area were small, it was pretty wide open, and there was a ton of wind shots. It was 5 p.m. A little bit before 2. There's not a lot of wind. It's definitely not going to be so much that it's clogging the microphones and stuff. What we're looking for is ArrowTime iPhone to match ArrowTime Android. That's what they're supposed to do. They're getting the same sounds at the same time. They're supposed to display the same speeds. They've been tuned, they've been coded, they've been debugged. We're going to see how we do today. We're in quiet mode, which should be the most precise. It's the one that's the least affected by noise cancellation. All right away we had a great result. Same. This is really good.
At this point in the session, I remembered that I might have entered the arrow length incorrectly in Android. So I go into settings, actually I go into the bow library and I check the arrow length on the arrow that I'm using, which is my Easton 400 spine arrow, and change it to the correct length.
Now I just adjusted the arrow length because it might matter. It might be the difference between exact agreement, 1.5 inches. Now we're within 0.1. Okay, we're within 0.1 of each other. So this is what I was hoping for yesterday, but it was so windy that I wasn't getting this result. Okay, next one up is a 50-yard shot. Now what we're hoping for is the same thing, agreement. Agreement between ArrowTime Android and iPhone would mean that the software is working correctly on both phones. I guess that's a little bit obvious, but in terms of what goes into that, you have to understand that getting this algorithm to work on 2 different phones means there's 2 different chips, there's 2 different microphones, there's 2 different gain amounts, there's 2 different compression amounts, there's 2 different operating systems. So if we see agreement here, that would be very encouraging. We are going to push my pin to 50. The sight tape was developed in ArrowTime. I'm going to be talking about how to do that. We had exact agreement on that shot. That shot did not pick up on the Garmin. We're going to see if this one does. We had exact agreement, the exact same number on Android and iPhone. That's what I'm hoping to see. I'm hoping to see that these 2 phones running 2 different parallel versions of ArrowTime are giving the same information to the archer. The exact same number. We had the exact same number, 255.0. Now that is faster than the rest of the group. So what I'm going to now see is, does the Garmin agree that the last shot was faster? I'm going to make a little note that said last one fast. Here, last fast. Now over in the Garmin, it picked up 3 shots. Let's see if the last one was the fast one. How do you do that in the Garmin? Shot list. And the last one is the fast one. It is 1 feet per second faster. So that's good. I got Cairo with me, sleeping on a bed of pine cones. There's fewer people here than in the ranges that I go to in the Bay Area, and the wind is nice. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do 40 and 60. I'm looking for the same kind of performance where the ArrowTime chronos are not different from each other. They're the same. And it's taken some time to get here. It has taken some time and some coding and some patience to get to this point. Not an awesome group. It's very encouraging. I basically want to now ramp up the promotion because I believe in this product more today than I have at any other point. All right, we're set up for a 40-yard group here at Mount Shasta Archers. I'm at the 40-yard mark. My range checker is verifying it. Okay, we did have a fast read on Android. We did have exact agreement on Android and iPhone on that second shot. Nice. We had exact agreement on the third shot. All right, we had very close agreement on the fourth shot. All right, we are set up to shoot at 60. I'm gonna push my pin to 60. Wow, what a great feeling. Okay, that one was still very workable results. Nice. Another one that exactly agrees, off by 0.1. Nice. Another one that exactly agrees, off by 0.1. Now we're going to take a look at the standard deviation. Garmin's saying 1.0, Android's saying 1.0, iPhone's saying 2.0. If I toss shot number 2, now iPhone is saying 1.2. And you can do this. If you see your groups and you have 4 very similar readings and 1 slow reading, you can toss the slow reading. I mean, you don't have to keep it in there because it was probably the app picking, not exactly the right points. You can get the precision if you're willing to clean up a little bit of wind trash on a windy day, or if you're willing to clean up, a mistake that the code might make once in a while. We're getting very usable reads. On this one, we had the same standard deviation on all, except iPhone was a hair worse. It's hard for me to know exactly which ones I hit record on and stuff. Can be a little bit much, the tech. But I'm kind of hoping that it's not forever, because now that we're getting such good agreement, that means that I'm not going to need to necessarily bring like everything that you see here. Once ArrowTime is more stable and it just kind of works, then I'll be able to be more fluid with it, like having just a stand and 1 ArrowTime. This kind of tripod stand, you don't need something like that. I'm actually selling selfie sticks that I think are very good, all-terrain selfie sticks that can adapt to slight hills, because the selfie sticks that have a tripod base, they tend to have a relatively small base. So this looks like a decent 60-yard group for me. It kind of looks like my sight tape marking is good. For 60 yards, for me being an intermediate archer, I'm pretty happy with this. Now before we go and meet up with my friends, I'm gonna do one group in windy mode because I have this hunch that maybe the noise cancellation was making things worse yesterday. Quiet mode has no noise cancellation. Normal mode has moderate, and windy mode has the most aggressive noise cancellation because it's expecting those frequent spikes. We had the exact same number. This is what I was hoping for on this trip, actually. I was hoping to come to beautiful places, shoot arrows, and see that ArrowTime has come to a point where it's ready for some real adoption. Standard deviation on Garmin 0.9, Android 1.0, and iPhone 0.9. So they're giving the same level of precision. Was the last shot faster? That's kind of a good one to see. It was. The last shot says it was faster on the Garmin, and it says it was faster on Android, and it says it was faster on the iPhone. So that's good. Usable. If you take the time to say how loud the environment was, it's going to help the ArrowTime community get better results over time. Now I'm coding on the road trip at Starbucks in Mount Shasta. Got my doggy. I got my phones connected to my computer so I can do some debugging for the wind cancellation. How's it going, Tiago? All right, it's day 3 of the road trip. I like to hide in the shadows at this time of day, but we are gonna do it here because we do have a nice little breeze. So I'm gonna set it to windy and see how good the latest noise cancellation is for wind. Yesterday I had a pretty fun experience of being a digital nomad in Mount Shasta, posting up at Starbucks and coding and analyzing the groups that I shot over the first 2 days of the trip. Now we're seeing if that work actually mattered, and so far we're not seeing any false shots. We do have a 25-yard shot. I'm going to be recording it in my normal ways, even though it's kind of bright. Just one more data point, and let's see if we can get it without hitting the various cameras. So far, no false shots, and it is kind of breezy here. Now the proof is going to be whether we pick up the first real shot. So I am getting used to this one pin sight, and that means drawing back and noticing a little bit too late that I'm at the wrong distance. Okay, we got a believable shot on iPhone and not a usable shot on the Android. We're back in it, we're back testing.
I thought maybe if I could just give the fist pumps and the head twists, that would sort of tell the story. I could just sort of show them one after another and you'd know whether I was succeeding or failing.
The only tool in my bag is to log the results and then analyze them later at my computer. So yeah, we picked up 3 trash shots, 4, oh, just got rid of one of the good ones, more trash. Let's do the next step of lowering the release gain. Now we have 3 for 3 on Android and 0 for 3 on iPhone. Maybe I went too far on the gain. Okay, my goal when I came on this trip was to announce that ArrowTime had gotten to the next level. Sometimes I feel like it has, sometimes I feel like it hasn't. Wind is one of the more confusing situations. Not the best group here. Gotta tighten this up. Sometimes my group tightens up and ArrowTime tightens up at the same moments, and that's kind of cool. Okay, we do have a pretty good gust of wind right now, and 1 false shot on each, 2 on iPhone. So the wind isolation is has some room for improvement. Nice. We had 258.4 on both. Let's see if we can do that 3 more times. Nice. 258.9 on both. Wow. 3 in a row with the exact same number. Standard deviation 0.3. Standard deviation on Garmin 0.6. Something is going very right now that didn't go right on the first two. Wow, 258.9 on both. That was the best result I've ever had on any test of ArrowTime. In a mild breeze, we had a 0.2 standard deviation. We had a 0.7 standard deviation on the Garmin. So ArrowTime just beat the Garmin by a lot in breezy conditions. Only question is, why did it take several groups to get there? That I don't know. But I am going to try to find out. Fantastic. On the first group, we had wild results. Lots of swiping away. By the time we got to that third group, I swiped away 2 bad shots on iPhone and 1 on the Android. And then we got a perfect group. Now over at the target, my sight tape line is a little bit high. So I'm gonna check that, see if it's actually at 25. That could not have been better. And look at Shasta. I feel lucky to be here doing my inventing. And I know that as long as I can get it together to edit and post this video, it's gonna resonate with the ArrowTime fans who have been really cool. I got one comment, I'm gonna put it on the screen, from someone yesterday saying, hey, I've been using this since the early posts and I can tell that it's getting better, so keep it up. I hope you don't stop. And I'm not stopping. And I really appreciated that comment because it has gotten better. The goal is not just to make an app chrono. The goal is to create an archery skill building community. My hope is that we could provide in an online tool something that feels a little bit like hanging out with your friends and getting good at something. Let me check my sight tape line. Yeah, it was a little bit above. All right. Okay, we're gonna try to do the exact same thing right now. Okay, we missed that one on the iPhone. It was loud and clear. Now we got 2 for 2 perfectly on the Android. And we're not quite there on the iPhone this time. So we had that perfect group, and now we have same conditions, not perfect. iPhone did not pick up any shots. I think the best thing to do would be to go to town, do more of my work in Starbucks or some other internet cafe, maybe meet up my friends a little bit later on, maybe charge the car. So this is the whole process here. I've been driving around, I've been staying in a campsite. Maybe I'll take some pics of that tonight. We're so close. We just got a 0.2 standard deviation on Android, and the group before that, we had the best group that ArrowTime has ever done. Exact agreement, 4 shots in a row with a very tight standard deviation. So we're close to the promised land. The reliability is not quite there yet, so I'm gonna keep working on it. All right, now rolling into downtown Mount Shasta. Gonna hit an internet cafe and analyze the groups that I just shot in that beautiful spot. There is a local internet cafe today that's open. Don't have to go to Starbucks, that's kind of nice. I got my doggy with me. Hopefully we'll just do this for like an hour, just figure out what was going on up there by analyzing the logs. We're back at Shasta Mountain Archers, a beautiful and underutilized range. I'm going to see if we can get the same type of quality. Well, we had exact agreement on that first shot. Let's see if we can keep that up. Wow, we had exact agreement. Wow, off by 0.2. Something is going perfectly now. Nice. Again, we have shots within 0.2 of each other. 0.9. Let me just put this into context for you. I'm sitting here at the archery range using the #1 product that people like for archery, chronographs, which is the Garmin Zero. And the Garmin Zero is saying that over that last group, the standard deviation was 0.9. That's the measure of consistency of the archer or of the bow. And then ArrowTime is saying 0.9 and 0.9. So these chronos are performing identically at 40 yards, which basically means that with this currently free download from Play Store and Apple App Store, you can get results that are on par with a $500 hardware chrono that you have to remember to have charged. You have to remember to bring it with you. With one of these, you already have it with you. When conditions are quiet like this, there's no reason that a 60-yard shot should be worse than a 40-yard shot. It's expecting 253 feet per second based on the distance curve that I've built up with ArrowTime. And you can build up your own distance curve. In fact, the distance curve is the best result that you can get from ArrowTime. The distance curve is how you take your shooting and turn it into a sight tape. Wow. On the first shot, we had exact agreement, 0.1 off from each other. Nice. We did have a bullseye. We had the exact same number. Now, the number that it's saying is a little bit hotter than what I would expect. I'm on the dot. It doesn't say anything anymore. I mean, I'm ranging it. Well, actually, it's saying a little bit. Okay. It's saying that I'm now at 60. Okay, speed's dropped. ArrowTime is now giving a number that's a little bit closer to what I would have expected, because you expect that speeds are going to drop as you go back in distance. Wow. Every single shot in this group is exactly agreeing. I'm going to do another 60-yard group here. Within 0.1, we're getting exact agreement from Android to iPhone on every single shot. Now, what if you were in normal mode? Would it be just as good? On this one, I'm going to keep my feet planted. This is my new shooting line between those two rocks. It's important to be very mindful of the shooting line. 256.1, the exact same number. So putting it into normal mode did not cause any weirdness. Within 0.2 this time. Within 0.1 this time. The exact same number. Now that one was a little bit faster, and we're going to see afterwards if the Garmin also thinks that shot number 4 was faster. The exact same number. Garmin missed one of those, so that's too bad. But Garmin is saying that shot number 4 is faster than 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, both shot number 4 and 5 were a little bit faster. If it leaves the bow with more kinetic energy, it's also going to slow down less, get to the target sooner. So it does make sense that maybe that accounts for the wider spread, since Garmin is showing you the initial speed. And look at the niceness of the screens too. Like, it's easier to see what you have with ArrowTime than it is with the Garmin Zero. Because it's an iPhone, because it's an Android, you're getting a better screen, a larger screen, more choice of fonts. At least for my compound bow, which has been the majority of my testing here in Mount Shasta, iPhone and Android are delivering the same number at the same time. The wind rejection is still a challenge. It's getting better. My group at 60 yards, I'll show you. It makes me want to try one more, I'll tell you that much. I like the fact that we were in normal mode because, to be honest, I just want there to be one mode. Like, I want it to get to the point where the app just understands if it's windy, quiet, or loud and sort of adjusts for you, and you don't have to mess with the gain. Okay, now for this last group, the emphasis has got to be on getting them into the white dot. ArrowTime's performing fine. I'm going to try to enjoy the archery as much as possible. ArrowTime is exactly agreeing. Now let's send a nice bright torch down there. Same exact number. Off by 0.3 from each other. And to put that in context, at these speeds, if it was off by 2.5, that would be a 1% error. Same exact number. Same exact number. The last two shots were either exactly alike or 0.1 off. Now let's see how we did on the standard deviation. We had 0.9 on Android and 1.0 on iPhone. And what do we have on the Garmin? 1.1. If the way that you judge a chronograph is how tight it understands the shots to be, now we have that on some groups, ArrowTime is tighter. I'm hitting done because I intend to use these in my speed distance curve. And while I'm here, I'm going to show what a speed distance curve is. You access it on the home page. You can see it either by time to target or by speed. It defaults to by time to target. You can see that I have 8 different distances shown on iPhone and 7 different distances on Android. Now, if we switch to speed, something interesting happens, which is that there's a little bit more jitter, but you get an implied initial speed, which is a little different on the two phones, and I have to figure out why. But over on the iPhone, that is a believable implied initial speed of 263.7. And over on the Android, that is also a believable implied initial speed of 266.7. Now, what is Garmin saying for this group? Garmin is saying 264.9. If you average those two numbers, you get what Garmin is telling you for your initial speed. So that kind of answers the question of, can you get initial speed with ArrowTime? You cannot get it directly, but you can infer it from the curve. And ArrowTime now does that for you. So now we're going to go walk and see how my 60-yard group ended up. I think I got some in the white. The height seems pretty good. If you take off this low shot, the height is good. So my tape that I'm shooting right now, I've created in ArrowTime, and I'm going to be publicizing more about how you can create tapes in ArrowTime that do this, that allows you to hit at 60. This is a technical milestone where the precision of the chrono is now less in doubt than it was before. What this means is that we can kind of now move on to the fun stuff, and I intend to do that with you. I do need some help from the community, which, if you're one of the people who's been following these videos and trying out the app, you're part of the community. What I need help with right now is spreading the word. Like, we've had somewhere in the neighborhood of 3,000 downloads, and the app is free, so there's no barrier to entry at this point. Let's see, how many people am I cooking for? I don't even know. Let's use up this onion. I didn't really get far enough on this trip to really feel like I conquered the wind, and I'm not sure that it's ever going to be truly something that can be conquered. It's truly challenging, because when the wind comes at the microphone, it sounds a lot like a sudden increase in volume, which is kind of what a shot sounds like. Let's see if my friends are texting me. Okay, great. Yeah, my friends are coming back. I'm just gonna tell them I'm cooking. Great. We have cell phone service here. That should be enough. Let's get this going. Now I lost my train of thought. The updates that come over the air to you, that's one of the coolest parts of developing an app. This is my first app. I've been an entrepreneur. Rock the Bike is in the events field. We do bicycle powered events. And I was actually at a recent tournament in Oakland, and I was like, we should bring a bike blender out here. It would be a lot of fun to have a bike blender at one of these archery tournaments. So there's going to be some crossover, but what I was trying to say is that this is not my first business, but this is my first app. And compared to running Rock the Bike, where when we sell something, we have to like drive somewhere and do an event, or we have to, correctly pack it and get it to FedEx or give someone a tracking number. There's all this delivery that has to happen. But compared to ArrowTime, when I work on the app and make it better, all I have to do is push it to the store, and anyone that's already using it is going to get the newest version. And the only way that they wouldn't get it is if they, for some reason, had auto updates turned off. But most people have auto updates turned on. Like, for example, if on this trip I improve the wind performance, which I have, as long as I'm satisfied that I haven't in the process made something else worse, then I can update it to the App Store and the Google Play Store, and everyone that's already using it is going to get the improvement. There's things that I could mess up too. Like, if I make an update and it causes everyone to lose all their data, which has happened once, then that would be like a no-no. Thanks so much for supporting. My name is Paul from ArrowTime Archery. ArrowTimeArchery.com is going to be where you can get the most up-to-date instructions for the app. So if you don't feel like reading the instructions that come with the app on a small screen, you could use your laptop. ArrowTime Archery is the company. ArrowTime Chrono is the first product. To get the app, you have to go to the App Store or the Google Play Store and search ArrowTime Chrono. Thank you so much. Have a pleasant evening. I'm going to keep cooking.